Welcome back to my channel. This is yours truly, 50 only. We are coming to the very end of this season of House of Payne, and it's sad. We are currently episode 24, entitled You Heard Me, and I'm a little sad. I don't want it to end. I really enjoyed this season, but I'll talk more about what I think overall in the next episode. So let's get right into it. So the show starts off at CJ's house, where Malik, Lisa, and CJ are coming down the steps. Obviously, Lisa's upset. She's upset with Malik because she said that he keeps leaving the toilet seat up. So Malik is like trying to apologize. He keeps telling her that he didn't mean it. And he even tries to elicit CJ in the situation. And CJ's like, I'm not in it. And I love CJ because CJ's stance is consistent. Every episode, he's always like, you deal with it. It's your situation. You need to figure it out. So Lisa still seems upset even after Malik keeps apologizing. And then who walks in as usual? Miranda, who doesn't knock. She just walks in. So she has some hand-me-down clothes from Christian that she wants to give Malik and Lisa for the baby. And so CJ asks Malik to go outside and help him with something. So once they leave, Miranda and Lisa begin to talk. And Lisa was talking about how Malik be getting on her nerves. You know, she was just saying how he really gets on her nerves to Miranda. And then all of a sudden Aunt Ella comes in. And she notices that Lisa's upset. So she asks Lisa, what's going on? You know, what's wrong? Lisa tells Aunt Ella about the toilet seat. And Aunt Ella lets her know, you know, usually when situations happen and people start arguing about a toilet seat, it's usually more than a toilet seat. Like there's deeper issues going on. So she goes on to tell Lisa, you know, you really just need to have patience with Malik. You know, and with the situation that you're in, you know, and you need to, she said, you need to talk to Malik about everything, not just this situation, but you really need to talk to him about everything and get to know him. And this was also something that was brought up in the last episode. So we do know from what Aunt Ella has said, from what Malik and Lisa have said, that they really don't know each other very well. That they got together and, you know, obviously they had unprotected sex, and now Lisa is pregnant. So they sort of did things backwards. So they're now having a baby. Now they're having to learn one another after her getting pregnant. So that's why this whole situation is so difficult. And also, let's not forget that Lisa is living in a house with people who really don't know her, not even the boy or the guy that she's with. So that situation is a whole nother thing. That's a whole nother thing, because where's Janine and where is Jasmine? Like, they have not been on these episodes, the last 3 or 4 episodes. We haven't seen them. So it's like, where are they and why aren't they interacting with Lisa? I remember one episode in particular where CJ said that Jasmine and Janine could not be in the same house with her. Like, they literally left and went to go see Jasmine and Malik's grandmother. So it would be Janine's mom. So I think it's going to be interesting to see the next season how all of that plays out and like their interaction with Lisa. So that's going to be something to watch. So Aunt Ella goes on to reveal something that was very interesting. She said that if it wasn't for her faith, if it wasn't for her praying, that she would not be with Uncle Curtis. And I think that's interesting because what I like about this season was, even though over the years we have seen how sometimes Uncle Curtis can be a little rude to Aunt Ella, or he can be disrespectful, the way it comes across now. I'm not saying that that was his intent, but it comes across that way. And I think the kids have seen it. I think CJ and Calvin and all the kids have seen that, but they've never actually talked about or brought it up on the show about Uncle Curtis. It was one time they talked about him being disrespectful, but that was the only time. It was very, very minute. It wasn't really focused on too much. So I like that this season you see the unraveling, sort of. You see the rockiness of Aunt Ella and Uncle Curtis's relationship. You begin to see that, this is not a perfect couple, that they have had issues. They have had things going on that underneath the surface as well. So I like that she brought that out and she was open and honest about how she felt. So, they were really surprised, that she even, said that, especially Miranda, which was really interesting. So Miranda was just kind of sitting there looking kind of like at this shirt, and she was looking kind of sad. And Aunt Ella was like, are you okay? And she was just like, yeah. And then she said, which was really a very, it was a great thing that she said, very pivotal. She encouraged Lisa to be patient with Malik. She also said, you don't want to realize you love him when he's gone. And I thought that was very, very interesting because, she is doing some soul searching. And I think Miranda is hitting a place of acceptance where she's not sure if she's ever going to be with Calvin again. And she's beginning to realize that this was all her doing and that, she created this situation. Now she has to face the consequences of her actions. And this was, I have to say, I actually respected Miranda in this moment. Because as much as I don't want her and Calvin to get together, at least she was able to admit her side, and she was able to take accountability and responsibility for her actions. So I have to give her kudos for that. So after she made the statement, she excused herself and she went upstairs. So then then back at Uncle Curtis's house, Malik goes to see Uncle Curtis to ask him for some advice concerning him and Lisa and their relationship and just relationships in general. So Uncle Curtis was talking to him about how respect is a big thing. He talked about, he was like, I joke, but you know what? He said, I would give my life for Aunt Ella, for that woman. Like, he was talking about Aunt Ella. He said, I would give my life for her, and he said, you got to make her laugh. You got to love her and make her laugh. He basically told Malik, that's what you need to do with Lisa. Love her, make her laugh. And then Malik makes the statement, you treat her like you treat Aunt Ella? He said, yeah. Treat her like, or either, I'm not sure if he said that or if Uncle Curtis said, treat her like I treat your Aunt Ella. And then he said, okay, that's what I'll do. I'll treat her like, you treat Aunt Ella. So that irritated me because everything that Uncle Curtis said, out of everything he said, Malik heard that. And then he had his own interpretation of what that meant. So then, back at CJ's, Lisa, Miranda, and Aunt Ella are talking. And Aunt Ella is basically, apparently they're talking about Calvin. And so Aunt Ella is like letting Miranda know, look, you can be fine with or without Calvin. Stop, moaning over him. Stop looming this gloom and doom over, Calvin. Get yourself together. You're going to be fine whether he's with you or whether he's not. So, then, Miranda says, well, I want to be fine with him. So then Aunt Ella, she excuses herself and then she goes home. So Malik comes back home Lisa tells Malik she wants to talk to him, and Malik tells her after she makes dinner. So Malik starts demanding that she go in the kitchen and make dinner. He's rushing Miranda off, being rude to her, telling her to go, and also rushing Lisa, like telling her, hey, where's my food? And Malik began to talk just like Uncle Curtis, like telling them they need to, telling Miranda she need to go, and telling Lisa, hey, woman, where's my food? He's just saying all the things that Uncle Curtis says. So then and they're trying to figure out what is going on with you, Malik. And so Aunt Ella comes over. She comes back in the house because she left her keys. And Malik begins to be disrespectful to Aunt Ella. And Aunt Ella is listening to him like, what? So then she starts asking him, where did you go when you left? So the reason why that is funny is because we've heard Beverly's name pop up throughout the House of Payne series. So like even in the beginning, like when Janine was on drugs, there was a point when she left out the house and got in a car with Beverly, and her name has always popped up as if like it's kind of almost like we don't know for sure if Uncle Curtis ever had an affair with her, or if he just kind of talked to her on the side, or if he had some sort of relationship with her. But it was always sort of this undertone of, that there was something with this Beverly woman. When Malik said he went to go see Beverly, oh my God, that was so funny. And of course, Aunt Ella cut him off real quick. So then Malik told Aunt Ella that Uncle Curtis is where he went. He went to go talk to Uncle Curtis, and he basically told him to treat Lisa like he treats her. So then she was like, okay, I'll deal with him. So, and let me just say, I don't like, and I'm not, I just think they give Uncle Curtis a bad rap. Yes, Uncle Curtis can go too far sometimes, but deep down, if you watch House of Payne from season 1 all the way up to now, if you really, really look at Uncle Curtis as a person, he really does love his family. He really would lay down his life for any one of them. He really goes to bat when it comes down to it for his family. So I do think they give him sort of like a bad rap sometimes. Sometimes he does go overboard, but I think deep down, just like Aunt Ella says, she says she knows his heart. His heart is really what matters. The heart of a person is speaks volumes. So Aunt Ella left and she went back home, and then Miranda left and gave Malik and Lisa some privacy. So they talked and they apologized to one another, and Lisa was like, don't talk to me like that again, and he's like, I won't. So they're just sitting there and they made up, and they were just talking about how Aunt Ella was going to get Uncle Curtis. That was so funny. So back at Aunt Ella's and Uncle Curtis's house, Aunt Ella, he's back in the back, laying in the backyard, chilling. And Aunt Ella she goes back there and she questions Uncle Curtis about what he said to Malik, and he said, he told her, he said, look, I treat you like a queen. And she said, do you? He said, yeah. And, Aunt Ella would begin to talk to him about how he asks her, how he says he demands things of her, like, go do this, go do that. And she was like, well, that stops. And she was like, from now on, I want you to ask me nicely, And she was, and he was saying, I'd just be joking, that's how we do, and she was saying, well, I know that, but the kids don't see that. She said they see it as you being disrespectful. And the way he talks to her is being disrespectful. And so, he said he wouldn't do it anymore. But basically, that was the end of the episode. But this is my question. Is Uncle Curtis being disrespectful? Is Aunt Ella accepting less? Because do people in general sometimes accept less just to stay in a relationship? Because my question a lot of times, and this is the other side of it, do we give up too early in relationships? Because I think nowadays it's just so much out here that you can get into. Back in on Ellen Uncle Curtis's generation, they just stayed together. They worked through it. They dealt with things. They talked it out. They just kept, they stayed together for the most part. Nowadays, I think people break up so easily, or like if you're married, people don't stay married long. They get divorced over the smallest things. And my question is, do you think that's okay? Do you think that people don't stick it out long enough? Do you think that people don't give marriage enough chance, and that they just give up on the smallest thing? Because I mean, some people get divorced over money. People get divorced over not agreeing on like kids. I mean, it could be simple things that maybe they didn't talk about before they got married, or they talked about it and then they have a change of heart in the midst of being married. So it's just a lot of little things that I wonder, are these things that we should get divorced over? Or do you think that people just don't have that stick-to-itness in marriage like the generation of Aunt Ellen, Uncle Curtis? Or do you think that we should or we shouldn't? Let me know what you think, because that's an interesting thing I was thinking about. And do you think that, nowadays I notice a lot of women don't cook as much as back in those, in those other generations, like with my grandmother and even my mother, like, people just don't cook like meals, because you can pretty much buy everything. They have everything pre-packaged and all that kind of stuff. So I just want to know what you think. I think this episode was really good. I am, like I said, excited, but also sad that the last episode is coming up. But I'm also excited because we do have another season. It has already been renewed, in case you didn't know. So I'm excited to see what these writers are going to do, because Tyler Perry's got writers that are going to be doing it. He already said he's not going to be doing the writing. So it's going to be interesting. My other question is with Miranda, because I didn't really talk much about Miranda, is do you think her and Calvin are going to get back together, or do you think this is it for them? I'm wondering myself. You already know how I feel about it. But so that is it for this episode of House of Payne. I hope you all enjoyed my review. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and hit that like bell. But you all have a wonderful, wonderful day, and I will see you and talk to you in my next video. All right. Bye-bye.